And welcome back to Theros Chaos, the Mythic Odyssey of Theros, session 22. We had it's been a couple of chaotic sessions. What do you remember from the previous week, everyone? Ooh, about that good.
Body swapping.
Body swapping. As usual.
Puzzles. I lost 13 hit points for some reason,
I think
which I'm hoping somebody can fill me in on.
You put something in the statue's hand that was asking for the writing tool. I think you put in like wine or something like that, and it did damage to you.
Yeah, it could be.
Or you touched the magic chest and it zapped you. One or the other, I can't remember. Or the mimics got you. No, I don't think the mimics got anybody. I don't think they did any damage whatsoever.
The mimics got one very important party member.
They certainly did. So we'll go through what happened.
Sort of.
So you went straight to the mimic room instead of the puzzles you were currently facing, which was a room filled with about 10 chests, various sort of styles, but all of them different. You poked open a few that were unlocked and found some gold, found a bell mace. You unlocked a few that were a little bit less friendly, as I believe there was either 4 or 5 mimics that were there to just be annoying. They didn't really do much because they are only mimics. And you destroyed a couple of the chests as well, including good old Pogeg, Goomba stomping a chest, shattering something that hung in the air in prismatic shards, and decided the best course of action was to snort it, or at least inhale it. And then he disappeared.
Naturally.
And hasn't reappeared since. So I'm sure that is something that will come back at a later date, maybe, theoretically. Unless you just want to go for Pogeg 3.
I mean, I've got a pocket full of Pogeg disappearance dust. So,
you've got Pogeg disappearance dust, okay.
Happy to see God.
So you went back to the room with the 2 statues on either side of an urn that seemed to be in mid-conversation. And after touching the statues, you realise that they could talk to you telepathically. And they seem to be having an argument of trying to get the other person to answer a riddle, but they were refusing to listen to each other. Or to you, to a certain extent. You managed to solve the riddles fairly quickly, but it did take you a good moment to be able to realise that you needed the other one, or the other statue, to answer it for you. So to trick them into it. But you managed to do so in the end, and got yourself a Nyx Lotus, which I'm sure won't completely break my game later. Especially because Dios has it, and now the cleric bullshit can do even more cleric bullshit in a day. Oh dear. From there, we had some body swapping shenanigans where Sogeg is now in Zolk's body, Zolk is now in Skutz's body, and Skutz is now in Sogeg's body, as well as Sogeg Zolk jumping onto a teleport trap, teleporting to a different location, opening a chest that was once magically sealed, and finding a shard of the deep. I know it's called the Far Realm Shard, but it's the Shard of the Deep.
I believe it's actually called the Stone to Give Sogeg.
So you should have
it down.
those that can still get agendas should have no agendas. Zolk and Bennett, you now have ordeals that you need to deal with. And I believe there are a handful of new epithets. From there, what would you like to do? So we left on a bit of a chaotic note of Sogeg Zolk disappearing and 3 people in different bodies. So how are we feeling? What are we doing?
I'm going to skitter. I don't normally get to skitter, but I feel like skittering.
And scurrying.
You skitter and scurry about.
Ooh. I might
Going
go
for a
scurry.
scuttle.
I mean, I'll let you know now, you've already been this way, but...
I have, but I've got to rush back.
Do you?
I'm just going to shout as loud as possible. Skogeg! Skogeg, get quit over here, quick!
So, Zolkskutz, this is a door with a green gem over the top of it.
Oh, good. I need the rat then. I need the me.
What's the deal with the glowing circle in the room?
So that was the glowing circle the Sogeg Zolk stepped on and then suddenly teleported.
Oh, where did he end up? I've forgotten.
Where did he end up? Well, you would hopefully hear
He says
him
nothing
screaming.
as he would scutter back in, and he'd just run straight towards Skogeg
I want to grab him.
and jump on the back of Skogeg and just pass a strange-looking stone and say, "Quick, attune to it!"
I want to grab him.
No time.
She try. Okay, Jim. She attunes to it.
Who's Sogeg?
I don't know what it is.
So Sogeg,
A tear.
so Skuts is in Sogeg's body.
That's not the question I was asking. Who's Sogeg? We've only got a Jim.
That is true. There is only Jim.
There is no Sogeg, only Jim.
Only Jim.
Reject Sogeg.
Sogeg, a
Jim.
tear.
Return to
A tear
Jim.
rolls down.
Return to Jim.
I'm living a nightmare.
So, Skut Sogeg, you receive this sort of weird purple gem. Try to attune to it, but you are unable to.
Look down at the much smaller and fuzzier Sogeg, Jim, and I just shrug. It's broken, bro.
Oh, just sigh a bit. So, well, Zolk can't. Maybe give it to. I can't think what would be Skulk. Skulk in a item.
Zutz.
It looks cool. Zutsk. This strange rock that seems to have eyes on it, almost as if it were from a god, perhaps.
I mean, you could give it me the easy way. There's a perfectly fine doorway.
There are multiple doorways.
A deal. Zutsk.
An armrest.
No more shenanigans. We swap bodies back properly. Okay.
I can agree to this because of the circumstances. I need that rock.
I offer a handshake. No takesies backsies.
I instinctively hold it in an arm wrestle.
Note that this is an arm wrestle between Skuts
Wait a
and
second.
Zolk.
Is my
It is. Although, I believe Skuts is at a disadvantage.
Absolutely would be.
And so would I be, because I'm tiny.
Yep.
Oh no.
What? Where was...
Is Zolk still
So
size small?
Skut would be neutral because she would be at advantage for being considered 2 times bigger than you. Zolk Skut would be considered 2 times bigger than you. But is at disadvantage from that, so it would even itself out, and then
disadvantage from
Sogeg
what?
Zolk would be at disadvantage.
I thought the Aura of Madness comes with me when I change.
Oh,
It does.
good point.
That is a good
So
point.
would I
So
be at
yes, it would be.
disadvantage?
It would not be.
You would be advantage.
So it would be an advantage. Yes.
Yes. Crush your body.
So finally getting to enjoy not having to struggle in an arm wrestle. You just crush your old body's hand and slam it into the ground.
Now let's go trade.
Is there any other... This door to the west here, does that have a shining
It has
gem?
a blue gem over it.
Don't you
No,
dare.
point to Zutsk. I'm going to say, we swap our bodies first, then you get yours. At the moment, Zolk can't steal any of our bodies whilst he's in Skuts' body.
Unless someone goes through a green door.
I step backwards. I'll go for the green door. I'll end this
Wait.
madness. I'll just run. Oh,
Sogeg is going to get up like a baby giraffe. Jim, how do you walk with so many goddamn legs? Where's the green Jim at?
So
Gem.
Dios is stood in front of it.
Okay.
Active.
It is active, yes.
All right. I'm going to go through the door.
And then Zolk is now in Sogeg's body, and Scuds, you're back in your own body.
The next character sheet.
I run through the blue door.
So that was a purple door.
Oh my god.
So,
I'm gonna just, seeing how injured Scuds is, I'll just walk up to her and place my hand on her shoulder, and I will use my divine epithet.
Okay.
So I roll a
Nice.
number of d8s equal to my proficiency bonus, so 3d8 healing. Have 14 health.
Nice.
14 health. Any conditions are also removed. Dios, I need a d20. Get a point of exhaustion, but it doesn't really bother you because you've got endurance now.
My just dismay of being called Jim, I'll walk through a purple door. Zogeg, you must walk through a purple door.
So this door is also purple.
God, have you
There we go. Okay.
Oh,
You switch back into your original bodies.
I'm just going to scuttle back and I'm just going to embrace Sulk and give him a big old hug. It's good to be big again.
Smells like wet rat.
I feel like I've already got the wet rat smell on my armor at the moment.
It's kind of hot. It kind of permeates through the party.
We just got used to it.
What's going on in this room then?
So this seems to be more of sort of an audience chamber. This sort of open space where somebody would stand and speak to a crowd. 4 pillars holding up the ceiling, frescoes on the wall, paint or depicting faceless carvings of worshippers of Kruphix, as you've seen in other rooms. But that's about as much as you can spot at first glance.
Hey. Does anything look out of place?
Make a perception check.
I think I was better at these being a cleric, but I'm not. Okay, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Sounds
That's
terrible at
terrible.
these. You have a glance around, and being a bit more familiar with the bullshit that this temple can throw at you, you do see a few loose stones just underneath this platform here.
Okay, I'll walk over. I won't, taking care not to step on them.
So it's more sort of in the wall, sort of like loose bricks.
Okay. Can I try and lever them out?
You certainly can. So you take a pointed object and
Use
sort of,
endurance.
leave them free. It leaves a little sort of cubby hole, a little sort of empty space behind, in which is a small leather pouch.
Grabs the pouch. Is it giving off any magical auras? Because I still have detect magic.
Vaguely. So it's not like strong magic, but it definitely has the hints of it.
Let's have a look in the bag. What's in the bag? What's in the box?
It is hold on. A small pouch worth of would be it would be a small pouch of sooth salts, which are you probably got about 3 doses in there.
Okay, and what do sooth salts do?
So
Very
you
nice.
can.
I've just found them in the.
There we go. Yeah, you can use a dose to gain advantage on intelligence checks for 1d4 hours, but it has the potential to give you exhaustion and addiction.
Oh.
It's essentially the Mentats, if I was going for a Fallout reference.
Learning drugs.
Learning drugs.
What is Fallout? Seen Seeing Zolk just so small again, I kind of feel bad for him. I look at the useless rock that I gave myself. I look down to small Zolk. I go, here you go, Zolk. This rock has eyes on it. I think you'd like it. I'm going to give Zolk the Kruphix looking stone.
Okay. You go ahead and
That'd be
give the shard that seems to be covered in eyes and tentacles to Zolk.
I just sit in a corner and identify it.
You can sit in the corner and identify it.
Right, job's a good one.
I will show it to you.
You didn't smell very much.
So it should show up in your magical items folder now.
Yeah. If you don't want disadvantage, don't come in this corner.
Jim is not commanded. Jim leads. So what was the rock, Zolk? It was a pretty cool rock.
Well, it mentions meta magic, so I don't think I can use it particularly well.
Yeah, there's only one particular person in the party that would actually be able to use it, but it's also a very shiny, expensive looking rock.
Yeah.
It's the best kind of rock.
Something tells me this isn't for me.
But maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. Who knows?
You sort of roll the dice.
Just gotta roll those dice.
Anger of small spaces. Just gonna. Is there a shiny light above this door?
There is no light above that door.
Oh. And I'll just bow and gesture for Dios. He'd like to take the glory of walking through the door.
Yep. Is there any light in front of the door? In front of me?
There is a blue light in front of the door, and from what you can see into the room, there seems to be a perfectly preserved piece of armor sort of floating in the center of the room.
Any magical aura coming off it?
Yes, it is definitely magical.
And the school?
Would be enchantment.
Okay, that's a living armor. We're staying away from that.
Into the room. You just notice behind you, just Soge, he's just clacking, like his just claws are strangely clacking. The sound of drool down his cheek. He just, nonchalantly looks past and just sort of doubles back. What kind of armor are we talking? How shiny?
Go ahead and make a history check for me. Just so I know whether or not you actually know where the armor initially came from. Okay.
I don't much an advantage, but
So this is Cetessan glass armor. So it's armor made of sort of hardened glass. It is very sturdy. It is susceptible to being struck very hard, but you would know from previous stories of wars between Akros and Cetessa that these make targeting something with a spell very difficult.
I looking at it, I'm just sort of like trying to strike in there. Do I notice any movement in the armor? Is it staying completely static where it is, hanging in the air, or is there sort of a twitch, almost as if it were?
Static, sort of solidly hanging in midair.
I look to Dios, a forlorn face, and I just say, "Can you blame me?" I'm going to walk in the door.
So first of all, the blue light cracks, and you get yourself a nice blue light.
There was a blue light. Oh no!
I did say that there was a blue light.
You did.
Also,
Silly Jim.
Ooh.
I just accept it. I knew it was about to happen, but it wasn't like in my comic books what Nana used to read to be.
So as
It was
you
really
step
cool.
inside, you immediately get stuck. And you will gonna take 6 points of acid damage as
Ow.
the gelatinous cube starts to dissolve you.
Can I try and pull him out?
You certainly can. It would be a athletics check.
Okay.
Tug on me.
As he's not that stuck in, and you watched him go inside, you managed to grab him by a scorpion tail and give him a good old tug, and out he rips.
Told you
So
not to
it does-
go in that room, Jim.
Dios. It had to be done. You saw the armor. It was worth it was worth the risk. See, I like
Try
trying
and
to
go
pass it
get
off as if I don't even remember.
We could
That's-
try and go get it, but just running at things in here is probably a really stupid idea.
You would have thought you'd learn this by now.
It was a really cool bit of armor.
I'd smack him on the helmet with my with the flat of my my pike and just ring his bell a bit. Use your head, Jim.
My head. The head of my spear. I stab at the thing.
You stab at the thing. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Disadvantage is within 5 feet, but
So you stab deep into the gelatinous cube, piercing pretty decently into it. You could probably feel your spear clang against the backside of the wall. Your spear's now stuck in it, and it's also going to slap you with some goo that's sort of seeping its way along the spear end.
I scream at the
So 20
the
to
jar-
hit,
to
doing
miss.
10 acid.
Even. I scream at it as I'm going to compel duel the acid cube.
You get a strong feeling that it wouldn't work.
It's just a blob.
It is just a blob.
I'll attempt to wrench out my my spear then.
Okay, make a athletics check.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you really, really
The
want the
spear
armor,
stays in there.
you could literally just dive in there and go grab it.
So
Could, but I
I'll
don't.
give everyone else an action to react to this before the cube starts slapping Sogek back.
I use a sealer's leaf on myself.
Okay, make a medicine check.
Respectful.
Scott's heard the bellow of his attempted compelled duel, and she knows what that means. So she's gonna hustle on over to join in.
So you see Sogek currently trying to rip his spear out of thin air.
You got this, Jim.
I give a thumbs up behind me. It's really fun. It makes a cool ploppy noise when you hit it.
Also, Sogek,
gonna,
8 points of healing from that.
I'm gonna we're gonna play Disco Disco, and I'm just gonna fairy fire this fucking thing.
Verify? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember his dexterity save.
That is a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Turns out a static cube can't really dodge.
So it is now a disco cube.
It's now a disco cube.
Everybody can fucking see it now.
Indeed, you can. It is as much as it's transparent. You can see the sort of shimmer as the light sort of bend through it.
Disco Disco.
So, is that everybody? Bennett,
Yep.
Nadrin, are you just hanging back eating a meat pie?
I'm confused as to where everyone went.
So they went up here, and then down this way, and I didn't get rid of that.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay.
where everyone went. I was very confused because I saw people
Make
just
sure you
disappearing.
look above everyone walking through.
It also doesn't help
Go
that
for it.
neither Bennett or Nadrin have swapped bodies, which means you can't see through other people's eyes. So you don't know where everyone's gone.
Yeah. It's
we
like
all
people
know.
keep just disappearing around corners, and I'm like, what corner?
Yeah, I just got to remind
That'd be
everybody that
Scotland.
my action is still readied, and if anybody tries to drag me through a door, they're going to get knife in the face.
I like that challenge.
Ominous. So,
Yeah.
Nadrin, Bennett, are you doing anything to help Sogag?
No.
Good answer.
So the cube is there,
The
yeah?
cube is there, yes, and it is glowing now, thanks to Dios's fairy fire.
Let's go.
You can
I
actually
go through
see
this
where it
door
is.
without the risk of being body
Yeah,
swapped.
there are. So the only
This
door
door,
nearby that has a
specifically.
light is this one here.
Right, okay. So we'll go through it. So if Sogeg is stuck in that, can I non-lethally try and lash him with my whip and try and pull him out? If that's the intention.
Sure. Make an acrobatics check.
Don't expect good things. Told you.
I believe. Oh, I don't believe you.
So you lash at Sogeg and pull, and he moves fairly easily because he was trying to more pull his spear out than pull himself out. So,
I probably should have aimed at the spear, shouldn't I?
think-
Really?
Nadrin, you're the one that hasn't taken an action.
I'm out of ideas.
I'll hold my my radiant, beautiful shield. Nadrin, you gotta shoot me. Oh wait, no, it only goes back to you. Maybe don't actually. Thought we were going to do a trick shot for a second.
But don't
I
forget,
just read
Nadrin's
her
got
shield again properly.
the fleecebane hide, so it would bounce off her and then back to you, so it would just be caught between.
It just keep going between us.
Ooh,
Ping pong.
that sounds useful. We could do that.
I think I'm just gonna try and magic missile it.
Ooh, magic missile. Do you have your magic missile epithet active?
Do.
Sweet. So first of all,
Nice.
roll 2d8 for me.
Yes, 2d8. A 3 and a 3.
Okay, so let me actually find where the paradoxical missile is. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
looking for it
guaranteed
myself.
fire damage, but you now double the number of magic missiles you cast.
Okay, so it's
So at level 1, you'd be casting 6 magic missiles.
right, and it's d6s instead of
And it's
d4s.
d6s instead of d4s.
So it's 6 d6s.
66 plus 6.
Okay, how do I do more than 5?
Uh,
I
you
use.
can either use the advanced dice roll or
More than
just
advanced
roll
dice roll.
5 and then roll another.
I'm gonna do the roll 5 because I use this thingy so much. So 5 and then 1.
So that is 26 points of fire damage. A useful
Okay.
spell now. And do you want to move anywhere?
Feel some toasty buns.
I mean, I kind of used my turn getting to where I am, I guess. My movement anyway.
Well, you've got the 10 feet of movement from casting a spell.
I do. I think I'm okay here because I can see the
Okay.
cube.
Well,
And
Cube's,
Neil
Oh,
can
yeah,
hang
Neil.
back.
Cube's going to get its slap on Sogag. It's not going to do
Try.
anything. So, Sogag, I'll let you do something, and
Your
then everyone else
cubeness.
can try something.
Okay. It's made of acid. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be immune to poison. Just going to try and wrench out my Zeiston once again in a fit of rage.
Okay.
Get out, you-
Athletics check.
Bastard!
Nope, it's staying.
Start screaming in the
I've only got
corner.
a 3 in athletics.
I don't get why I don't have
I thought
proficiency in
I-
it for some reason.
I thought you were
I
one of the
thought I would
muscle
do.
bros. Have we not got the muscle bros?
It's
skill?
embarrassing.
He's not
I don't
muscly
know.
enough.
That's your arm
Very
wrestling
unfortunate.
skill. This is why you lose.
I'll say now we know why Zolt
is-
keeps winning.
I
Come
don't
on,
get
Jim.
how I don't have proficiency in it. It's terrible. I tried. It's only going to make me go worse, but can I just in a lash of rage just jab it with my barbed tail at the same time?
You can go ahead and jab it with your bob tail. I bet you're attacking at advantage because
It's going to get stuck, but
it's been glowed. Okay,
I dislike you, Cube.
so you give it a good old stick. It definitely feels it. You can see the poison being injected and sort of floating in midair. It isn't okay. Well, there you go. It is paralysed. It is not immune to
I don't
poison
think
or
that-
paralysis, surprisingly enough.
Well, that's a good.
So you see
Yes.
the poison spread through it, and you can see everywhere where the poison's gone, it has become a lot more solid. Okay,
It's
so
an
everybody
unconventional
else,
strategy. But it's fine.
if you attack it with a melee attack, it's an automatic critical hit. If you hit. So, I'll give everyone else a chance to take an action if you want to help Sogeg do his thing.
How stuck in this am I at the moment?
You're not...
Out of interest.
Well, your tail's a little bit stuck in it. You would need to rip your tail free, and your spear's stuck in it, but you personally, aside from the tip of your tail,
That's good.
is not in it.
So try and wedge my way out of the way for everyone.
I mean, people can move onto your space as long as they don't end the turn there, unless they want to ride you. Because everyone can actually mount Sogeg as a mount, because he is big enough.
I'm literally a vehicle now. I have a javelin launcher.
Any volunteers?
I'll give him an inspiration.
You're going to use one of your few remaining bardic inspirations.
Respect it.
That's
What
my
are you-
last one.
What are you trying to get us to volunteer for?
Whether or not you want to help Sogeg deal with the now paralysed gelatinous cube.
Okay. Yeah, I'll help him deal with it. I'm not going to go anywhere near it, but I'll help him deal with it.
I accept pats on the back and good-willed
No,
words.
just, shove him in.
That's a very good point.
It was rather tempting.
I respect that as well.
You will out athletics him. He has only got a 3 in athletics.
Mate, I match it.
No,
Push me.
I'll do a sacred flame at the thing.
Okay. Is that dexterity save as well? It
Yes.
is. It
It's
also
only for 3 then.
fails, so it takes 3 damage.
Will you hurry up and kill that thing, Jim?
I don't
Oh,
respond.
It's almost as boring as watching you arm wrestle. Come on.
I look back, I will respond to that as I quip and I say, my arm wrestles are legendary.
Legendary
Titan.
tap.
I need to ask, Scuds, what are you doing?
I reached into Granny's handy bag she gave me, and I pulled out a drum that pulses as if it has a heartbeat. And when struck, it casts Otto's Irresistible Dance.
Which is a level 8 spell.
Oh my god.
Fuck it. I'm going to cast it on the paralyzed
Okay.
gel cube.
God, I
It doesn't
mean-
make any sense.
I
But
mean, it's
she's trying
paralysed,
to
so
be helpful.
It can't really dance at the moment. It would have been able to if it wasn't paralysed.
It can
Fine,
undulate.
then I'm going to cast it on Zolk.
There you go. Oh, it's level
Yeah.
6. I thought it was level 8. For some reason, I thought it was level 8. Okay. Zolk,
Going on?
I need you to make a... Oh, actually, no, there's no 6. Yep.
Only
You automatically start dancing to the beat of this heartbeat drum.
What kind of beat we're talking?
You must use all your movement to dance without leaving your space, and have disadvantage on dexterity saves and attack rolls.
Cool. I've put him in place
There's
so
no
he
saving
can't
throw for it.
force
It's
our
brilliant.
disadvantage.
There you go. You've tamed the rat from it. You've pulled out your Pied Piper drum and you've tamed the rat.
I'm pinning him more than 10 feet away from us.
The important question is, what dance is he doing?
I'm
I
working
know.
on it. It didn't work. Hang on.
He's flossing.
Breakdancing.
Just start shouting image.
There we go. Especially considering you are addicted to beast broth. So, yeah. 2 bottles of beast broth in either hand. So, while Zolk's dancing to Scuds' drum, Nadrin, Bennett, is there anything you'd like to do to help out Zogeg?
I tried and failed.
So you're quite happy just leaving them to it and enjoying the show?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even in the room to enjoy the show. I'm just happy to.
Well, you're enjoying Zolk's show.
The Zolk show is my favourite show.
You said you should have used your whip to pull the javelin out instead of Sogeg. You can try that again. See if
Yeah.
targeting the correct thing works. If roll 20 will cut you a break. I vote we bring back the Fool's Crown.
Why even suggest that?
Because if you have the Fool's Crown, you
okay.
just roll natural 20s for everything.
Rip.
Oh, wait. I clicked the wrong thing. What was it? you
Anything
wanted?
so he fails.
So if you're using your whip
Acrobatics,
again to try and pull the spear out, it would be acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
I probably
Okay,
even
yep.
Oh, a bit better this time.
With a solid lash, Indiana Jones style, you manage to rip free Sogeg Zeaston from the gelatinous cube.
Can I please scream and kill this cube?
Well, Nadrin's got an option if she wants to do something.
First of
Cursed
all,
cube.
let's go with what Neil is gonna do, and Neil is gonna like turn around and look at what Zolk is doing. Just kind of wave his body in rhythm with him.
See, I was hoping you'd make him start drooling, so Zolk would have to make saving throws to stay upright.
That'd be so much better. He's gonna drool and dance at the same
There you go.
time.
He started drooling. So anytime Zolk tries to move, including dancing, he needs to try not to fall over.
He's just so entranced in the dancing that he's gonna start dancing himself and just drooling. And I will.
This is going in my notes.
Zolk's nightmares, fear of dancing.
I am going to. What does this do again? Oh, sorry. I'm gonna use magic missile again.
Okay, same again. So, 2d8. Oh, you get to use either
Acid or cold.
acid or cold. Whichever one you
I
think
will
will work.
go for cold.
Probably wise. But this time it's only 3 attacks. So it'll be 3d6 plus 3. "13 cold damage.
Ooh.
It is definitely looking injured, looking not very consistent. You can see the floating armor begin to sink. It's going to get its another attempt at slapping Sogeg.
So you got to do a Constitution save.
It does need to do a Constitution save first because it's paralysed, but it does pass it, so that would have gone through.
Very nice.
But it still misses. And it's no longer paralysed.
Sogeg.
It's Sogeg if he's Jim.
That is very true.
I
Who's Sogeg?
Jim!
I
I'm
see
going
you,
to
Jim.
carve Sogeg on everyone's faces soon. I'm Sogeg.
You need a
Okay.
name tag.
Hi, my name is Jim. Happy to help.
Yeah, that every time you try and write Jim, it magically... Or every time you try and write Sogeg, it magically changes to Jim.
I just have to roll with it. Well, I'm going to ruffle
It's the
smite.
signed Sogeg Javelin, actually, the signed Jim Javelin now.
What are you smiting? Bennett has your spear.
I'm going to use... Bennett has a spear. You didn't just pull it out. You just stole it.
Hey, he whipped it
You
back
fuck.
into his own hands.
I picked the spear up from Bennett.
Bennett, do
Quite
you want to give up the
aggressively.
spear?
Well, I hold it out and wait for Sogeg to grab hold of it, but then as soon as he does grab hold of it and goes to take it, I pull it back and I say to him, "Don't stick it where it shouldn't go again." And let go.
Don't stick your spear in crazy.
I don't listen. I stab it in the face.
Well, it's a good thing it's paralysed, so that is an automatic critical hit. So tell me what the full damage would be.
It will be... I should probably have a little button to calculate that, but it's just 2d6 plus. So it's... Well, close to that, actually. 16, 31, 33, 33,
Fantastic.
36.
You stab clean
42.
through it and it disintegrates.
Well done.
Well done. You killed a
I
gelatinous
give
cube.
like a little victory cheer. Yay!
And the
Good job, Jim.
glass armor in the
Okay.
center clatters to the floor.
A mighty fight.
Theos just stands
Just
at
look-
the wall and just gives you the very slow golf clap.
Yeah. Bennett joins in the slow clap and says, "Well done. You killed a box."
And Zolk has managed to use the slime or the drool to his advantage in his sweet dance moves.
For being a champion of the blood god. Not a lot of blood came out of that thing.
Oh, there was no blood in it whatsoever. Yeah,
I mean, it was blue,
it was blue.
and I'm blue.
Well, it wasn't blue. It was see-through, but it then became prismatic because Dios made it a disco.
The disco cube.
Pick up this cursed armor. It looked cool. It was shiny.
Okay, you pick up the Cetessan glass armor. And in fact, just to make sure I give it a decent magical effect, it reduces acid damage by 1 as well. It's its normal things. So it's not the
Sogeg
buckler,
just
it's,
like cleans out
it's,
some,
it's glass armor
Yeah.
that does the thing. So quickly put that
clean some gunk out of my ear, and sort of you just see Sogeg's face drop again slightly as I just go, this is Cetessan armor, not a Crowan. May have made a mistake here.
I did say up
I
front.
may have
it
had
was
a brain
Cetessan.
not working.
Up front, I said it was Cetessan, but okay.
He did.
You did. I
Cetessan
don't know why
glass
my
armor.
brain completely missed that one. It's cool though.
And it doesn't require an
Um,
attunement, so
I'll put it in the Pogeg pocket for now. I've got a hole in my Pogeg pocket. I need to fill it with something. I'll fill it with Cetessan armor, glass armor.
Sogeg, I have something to tell you. Jim?
Jim.
So, about Pogeg.
Where is it?
You remember that snail I made disappear? She puts her hand behind her head and kind of scratches it, looking really, really upset. I think I might have made Pogeg disappear too. And she just kind of shrugs, looking at him
Just
like, "You remember the snail? You know."
just gobsmacked. Just look. I just look. It's just too much to just think about. Sogeg I'm just gonna flail all my little claws and just run off sobbing. Bogeg. I'm gonna run in this direction.
Okay, so you run through another break in the wall into a natural cave. As the Gobnik rattling, let's have a look. How long does that last for? It lasts for a minute, I believe. So, yeah, you'll have stopped by this point.
I mean, you could still dance. It's your
Yeah,
choice.
you're no longer compelled to dance, but maybe just the music's inside you.
Oh, yes.
Scuttle back, like
Well, if you're
letting
trying
off
to
a bit
move, I need a dexterity saving throw to avoid Neil's spittle.
Oh god.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So
My God.
the
It's like
dancing is
Heelys.
giving you fancy feet, and you manage to strike a pose as you step off of the slimed area.
incredibly red-faced, sort of just stomping about. I'm just going to hold out the bag of Pogeg disappearance dust. And a general just question to the party. I was going to say, look, I don't know if I've come out of bed really cranky. I had some very bad dreams that may or may not have involved Zolk. But where's Pogeg? What's this dust? And why can't I hit anything? Explain!
I see the Zolka's offered me this tentacle rock thing.
So it's a rock, or it's a crystal, and in the reflections of the crystal you can see things like octopus eyes and tentacles.
Okay. I guess I'll just take it off of him then.
Okay. So you now have the tentacle rock.
I won't tell them what it does.
You're just gonna hand it to me and not tell me what it does.
Yep.
Rude.
Saliva.
How many attunement slots do I have? It says I have 2 attuned items, but
I
I
believe so.
don't know if I've updated
'Cause
that from my...
I believe you've got the fleecebane pelt and the helmet
Yeah.
are the 2 items you have.
My boots.
Oh, and you've got the boots of the butterfly. So yes, you've got all 3 done. So you'd have to pick
So
one
that's
if you
all
want to swap it out.
Mm.
If. You don't have to. You might not even be able to attune to this thing. And anyone want to answer Soke's question of what the hell is this dust?
It's a very pretty rock, but what the hell is this dust and where is Pogeg?
Well, you see, Pogeg ran in. He drop kicked a box. You should have been there. It was very impressive, Jim. And whatever inside crystallized. Or whatever it. It went in the air.
You just see, Pogeg not really calming down as they're just sort of, just go in the newly formed temper tantrum room. I'm just going to sort of stomp about. I can't hit anything. I had bad dreams, and I missed Pogeg exploding. This is the worst day ever.
Can I take a look at the dust?
So you've already checked it the previous session, so and you didn't roll high enough on an Arcana check to identify it.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
I don't remember doing that.
I watched the VOD on the Satyr Atlas YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I genuinely don't remember doing that, but okay.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug there, yeah.
What is this strange thing that's not in Theros?
No, I just noticed on the video as well that Sogeg is now just called Jim.
Yeah, I just kind of slid that
Correct.
up there.
Cruel day.
Fits in with the rest of us.
I will make you all rue the name Jim.
You
Okay.
sure
It'll
about
be a
that?
name of champions.
Yes. Keep on talking, Jim. You're very, very scary.
I'm just stomping about in this room. He's just sort of like, well,
don't
not really
think your
stomping about. He's
size
just,
large,
just sort of
you-
like circling around.
You fill the
Yeah.
full room.
It's more that I'm stood in the middle of it and I'm sort of scuttling around in a circle, just hitting walls, going sort of like, grah, ah.
So would anyone
I'll
else
come
want to
out.
have a check of the strange dust? Or are you just
Scott's
going to let
seen a
Jim be
lot of
Jim?
Magical components. She'll see if she can.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Will it let me? Okay.
Okay. So you've definitely never seen crystals that look like this before, but the coloration of the crystals is almost identical to the skylights.
Oh no.
She squints at it very hard. I think we need to put this back in the sky. Or, I don't know. When he kicked the box, he was breathing really hard, and I think I saw him inhale a good chunk of this. But it looks like the skylight magic. Is Pogeg in the sky now?
Oh no.
She just looks really confused.
Well, we've got some dust that may or may not jet us up into the sky now. Good to know. We might see the Pogeg. You never know.
Guts will stick her tongue out and taste it in case it's good for seasoning.
Okay.
Oh god. Oh no.
Go ahead and make a charisma saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Okay. You taste it, and then to everybody else, Scott suddenly disappears.
I won't hesitate, and I can't stand for this, so I'll just throw the bat off in the centre of the room, with her pinky still full of the dust. And I'm just going to huff it.
And after a few seconds, she reappears.
Oh, that's good. I think I'm also about to go on a magical journey.
Yeah,
When you're pinky.
Scott, you definitely went on a magical journey. As soon as your tongue touched the powder, it felt like you had just been jettisoned into the sky. As you looked down upon the entire disk of Theros from an omnipotent position, alongside stars all around you, and hearing hundreds of familiar yet unknown voices before all of a sudden you rocket back down to Theros.
She's going to very slowly sit down, wide-eyed, and she's just gonna sit for a second and process what she just saw.
So, Sogeg, are you inhaling what's left of the powder?
No.
Coward.
So I was going to, but I feel like, yeah, Skuts came back just in time. Did you see Pogeg? Is he up there?
No, Jim, but I saw everything.
You would have heard Pogeg's voice in and amongst the cacophony of all the other familiar yet unknowable voices.
I think he's
God, these
part of the
poor gods.
skylights now.
Poor gods. They have Pogeg now. An eternal voice. You see, so I'll put the dust back in my pocket. And I sort of ponder a bit. And you just see, I put my two claws together in sort of a strange triangle shape. And I put it to the top of my head. As I think we've just unleashed a new religion onto the world. It's praise be to Pogeg, bringer of the skylights. Blessed be his name.
Oh no.
It was the journey Pogeg was always meant to take, from his early days as an Amphisabina, to his days as a hag, to his days as a redcap, to now his days as a deity.
As soon as
It
I'd
was
meant,
the natural progression.
Yeah.
it's
The signs were there
what he would
all
have
along.
wanted. He would have wanted it. You know, Saga gets over it very quick. As I just sort of dust my hands off and go, well, I might need a Pogeg 3. I'll be to Pogeg another time. You never know. You can't stop Pogeg now. Heliod might force him to come back if he's in like with the Pantheon of the Gods, because I really can't imagine them enjoying the presence of Pogeg.
Scuds came back after about a minute or so, and she only tasted it, so you never know. He might just pop back up in the same place after a couple of days.
Oh no. I'm gonna. I know Dios definitely can, but I'm gonna run over to Nadrin. I'm gonna sort of. Yeah. It really is just the worst day for Sogeg. Just sort of very dejected, very sort of low to the ground. Okay. Can you do me a favour? Can you write a note for me? And can you just write, like, an explanation so we can put it with Pogeg, we'll come back, and just tell him to meet us, I don't know, in the Sun Crown? I guess I think we're going there
The
next.
Sun's Mirror.
Sun's Mirror?
So, yes.
It's not that I can't write, it's more that I see writing as lesser. It's beneath me. I just ask as politely as I can. Can you please write a note for me? For Pogeg, if not for me.
If we can go to the sea next, I'll write your note.
I'll back you up on that. Sun's mirror than sea. That sounds like a fair trade.
You do have an instant pass to get to the sea whenever you want to. God has a traveller's amulet for Neolantern.
A slight addendum, because I don't think Pogeg can swim. He has big boots on. I say,
You
actually,
can sink.
could you actually write a note for Pogeg to go back to Granny's cave? Because I think Granny liked Pogeg, and I think he'd get along well with her. Also, I don't think we'd ever come back to the Sun's Mirror, so after we've been there.
It also
Got
adds the
sun
chance that Pogeg becomes part of Scuds' pocket.
I was gonna say,
Exactly.
does that mean he's in my
That's
random
perfect.
table?
I'm also thinking Pogeg needs to go somewhere where there's lots of blood, because he does currently have like 3 hats of red caps on at the moment.
So he's got
He needs
one
blood.
day. He needs blood every single day, otherwise he dies.
I offer a claw in agreement to Nadrin. You write the note to go to Granny's, and after we've been to the Sun's Mirror, I will definitely touch your amulet and go to the sea.
Okay. I'll write a note telling Pogeg to go to go to Granny.
Okay.
Put love Sogeg at the bottom of it so he knows.
I write love Jim.
Oh, he'll understand. He won't understand. He won't know who Jim is.
Yeah, he disappeared before he became Jim.
I just spit at the bottom of the parchment and just sort of rub in claw stent, and Pogeg will understand.
That doesn't seem very Sogeg. I thought you would have bled on it.
Yeah.
I'm not got any open wounds at the moment. I've got
That's
acid splash. They've all
easily
sort of closed
changed.
themselves.
That could be arranged.
Yeah.
It's a good point, actually. So, Jim's getting to my brain, and I snap myself out of it, and I will stab my claw with a knife, with a javelin.
Okay. You'll take 1 point of piercing as you bleed a bloody handprint onto the note.
Getting infected by Jim aura. I'm actually going to turn into like an accountant. I'm going to be like a sweeper. This is a horror show.
I wanted to help with my stick.
No. Don't you dare. How dare you? How dare... You can see it. You can see it. It says made by Sogeg.
It definitely reads signed by Jim.
It says made by Sogeg.
I'm reading Jim, mate.
The gods are cruel. This is a test. This is a test by Mogus. Mogus only cares about blood. Mogus doesn't care about your name.
So
I delude myself into believing this is a plan.
Do you want to fill the Jim hole with your blood? so that you know it's you.
I don't trust you, Zolk. your
could I
your
do
idea
with
makes sense. Too much.
So, with the note
No.
to Pogeg, just in case he returns here, written, what would you like to do?
Should we scuttle out of this infernal hole? This nightmare realm. We've almost explored all of it, to be fair. We've only got like
There's
2
a
rooms to
couple
do.
rooms left, but it's up to you whether you want to explore them or just get the fuck out of here. There's
Let's get
also a
scuttling.
blue light around Sogeg, and everybody else is still in their own bodies.
Well,
Step into a blue door.
The
If
nearest
you'll
blue
allow
door is
it.
that one.
Zolk? Just before I know that I look blue, I'm just going to tell Zolk, look. Shooting big ballistas and javelin is fun, right? You can agree with this, yes? Am I speaking to a sane person? Do you like shooting big ballistas, big guns?
are you asking me to sit on your back?
I'm saying, as long as you're not in my body, you'd be able to shoot big ballistas. If you swap with my body, you don't get to do that. Just trying to make an argument, basically make sure that you don't jump in that goddamn door.
I'll sit on the ballista.
Whee!
It means I don't have to walk for one.
There's that too.
Exactly.
Although you have to be on his back while he squeezes through some of the doorways.
I am not gentle. I try and make sure that Zolk gets his head hit every time.
There's no seat belts on Sogeg.
I'll just curl up and sit down.
So,
Something really easy to take.
what would everyone else like to do while this is whatever this is going on?
Rise or die.
Just so that you're aware, I unattuned to the armor
Okay.
to attune to the tentacle rock.
You're going to attune to the tentacle rock. Let me give you the rules for the tentacle rock. As you can attune to this one. So you should hopefully have access to a shard now. I know it says far realm, but it should be deep. But
Oh,
Far realm shard.
god damn it.
yep,
I read it and thought it was something else.
I did say right at the beginning there was the deep shard that I hadn't renamed yet.
But I read it.
It's still going in vaguely
I
the
did
right
the
direction.
one thing you don't expect me to do, and now I've screwed myself.
See, so
Fool.
Zolk being Zolk. You can always ask for it back. If no,
I'll
Jim
let the
wants to
last
give
one
it up.
work.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
This is why I said it's deep, because essentially instead of like space evil monsters, you're literally just letting part of a kraken appear.
Asa is being kind to me.
Indeed.
Yes, you may borrow my pet. Yeah, I like that.
So
And everyone went down this corridor?
Yep.
Yes. Found everyone, yay! Not gonna get left behind, yeah.
So you enter a naturally formed cave where this sort of place is dilapidated a little bit. Zolk, make a sleight of hand check.
You steal from me.
Okay, I will keep that in mind.
Okay.
It was
I
fun to
grab
deal with
Zolk
Theros.
by the scruff of his neck and I throw him against the wall.
You know nothing.
So okay, what's
I
your
felt a
passive?
hand
What's
in
your
my
passive perception?
It is... Wow, that's bad actually. It's 9.
Yeah, you felt nothing.
Theos has a passive perception of 15.
You would
I have a helmet on though.
see Zolk sort of adjusting himself, sort of patting down Soheg's back, but aside from that, you're not entirely sure what he's done.
If it's not dealing with Theos, Theos doesn't care.
It definitely wasn't dealing with Dios.
That's fine.
Yeah, Bennett also has a passive perception of 15.
Again, it was dealing with Sogeg, no one else.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bennett's fine then. Carry
Sorry,
on.
dealing with Jim.
Zolk,
Yeah,
you-
I do apologise.
Oh, yeah, Jim. Sorry, Jim. Got your name wrong there.
So, the cave leads into another room that seems to be pretty much empty. It seems to have once been a storeroom, but everything that was once stored here has been moved out. The only thing of note is that this door has a red gem, and this door is blank. There is no light to it. So, who would like to
Just
take the lead?
bustle through. I have nothing to live for in this world.
So, red gem on that one, and nothing on that one.
Nothing on that, the top one.
Nothing on the top one.
I'll definitely stand through that. Oh yeah, I remember this one.
And there is a dimmed, I believe it was blue gem there. Or was it purple? Okay, Scott, so you're going through that door?
think
That's
it's
the one that's
purple.
got a red gem over the top of it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. So,
I believe that was purple. As long as we don't reactivate any others, we're fine.
Get yourself a red light. So you would also see that this door has a red gem as well.
Which one?
This one at the top.
Okay. What happens if you walk through the door that you have your own crystal on?
So you walk through the door, and nothing happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rummage
I'm gonna
around
ring
in
of jumping away.
So I'll let you know now the mindset behind the doors. There was two solutions. One was to try and keep track and make sure you go through the right doors to get your bodies back, or everybody goes through a different coloured door because once you have a light, you can't get another one.
We'll get our own colour. I got smelly blue.
I want it green.
What's wrong with blue?
Not the coolest.
Wait.
It's not regal enough.
Oh, so I can walk through this door because I
There
already
is-
have a gem on.
Well, there's no light on these ones. Oh,
Okay.
there is.
There's
It
only
was it
purple.
was once purple, but it is now dimmed.
Got
This
it.
would lead
It's the
into
one.
two rooms with already triggered pitfall traps with spikes at
Who
the bottom.
triggered these? Crazy. Someone who was very athletic, I'm sure.
I'm assuming Dios has a way to quite easily navigate across.
You can literally just pole vault with his pike.
That's fair.
Go across on my cauldron. Does anyone want in?
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's because he's got a
Yeah.
cauldron
Zolk
that
fell
can
off my
fly.
back.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, we came to a door and I didn't trust it.
So yeah, Dios, that is the room with the entrance. So directly above
I know.
you is the about
That's why I
30 foot
went
deep
there.
hole.
We finally made it all the way back. Round
How do we get
the
out?
circle.
How do you get back out?
We climb.
Up!
We climb like heroes.
How are you going to climb?
My hands. Sergei's just gonna literally with his claws limber up, crack some. I'm gonna attempt to just use my sort of prehensile one, like the front ones, to sort of just like ice pick my way up this solid cliff face.
Okay.
Give me climb it.
Make an athletics check.
If there was ever a time for a crit, hiya! I also use my ring of jumping.
So you get your first couple legs into the wall, but as soon as you start putting weight through them, they slip and the rock breaks as you slip back down.
Versus.
Scuts will become a lift, right? Not an elevator, a lift.
Yes, I appreciate the right terminology. Yes.
At least you don't have to tell me what floor to go on. We don't have to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out how to go up.
Yeah, you can get out
We
the
want to
same
go to
way
the
you
first
got
floor, and
in.
we keep going to the bloody entrance for some reason.
Yeah, you can
This
go out
first floor looks the same.
the same way you got in, which is Scott's cauldron can fly and carry everybody. It can't carry
Yay.
everyone all at once, but it can, over time, make sure everybody gets out.
Could leave
Unless
someone at the
there's
bottom.
anyone that wants to stay here or do anything particular before you leave.
Would I have enough time to scoop up all of the scrolls while they're doing the lifting?
You would have to go back and get them yourself. And if they leave without you, they leave without you.
I'll just go.
You could always dig your way out of it. Keep digging down, eventually you'll go up.
What?
Theros. It's Theros logic.
I don't see why not. So everyone's finished in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you finally make your way back outside to the evening sun of Oreskos. And I'll just put you onto some nice animated artwork of the open, stretching plains, as most of the recent floodwaters have dried by this point. So that whole thing probably would have
beautiful.
taken about 4 hours in game. So yeah, it's probably about 3 or 4 p.m. by this point.
A lot of stuff to happen in 3 or 4 hours.
Indeed.
Emotionally draining. Or should we
You'll
eventually...
be okay, Jim.
I appreciate that, fish woman. I appreciate that.
So, where to? Continuing to press north to the Sun's Mirror, or are you heading in a different direction? I shouldn't really offer you this option because you usually take the opposite.
He just likes the
The
idea. of the
sun's
sun.
mirror.
You're heading to the Sun's Mirror. So you wander on for another about hour or so. At this point, you do see some other wildlife, but nothing that would constitute an encounter as you press on forward.
Any blink dogs?
Make a perception check. No.
While we look along this, could I also look in the opposite direction to Zolg and see if I see any confused looking redcaps just sort of wandering about?
Make a perception check. No.
We're not.
I know where he is.
Okay. So before I move you on to any of the artwork for the Sun's Mirror, I'll give its description. So, an unnaturally still and beautiful lake sits in the flats of Oreskos. Miles across, its enchanted waters give a perfect reflection of the dusky sky. On closer look, the swiftly moving shadows of the lake's denizens can be seen, their shapes obscured by the pristine surface. Along the southern bank, dozens of tents have formed a makeshift settlement, lit by numerous campfires. The sound of talking, laughing, and singing can be heard all in countless languages and dialects, and the soft smell of roasting meat carries on a gentle breeze.
Beautiful.
Would you like to go to the lake first, or would you like to go to the camp?
And we start at the lake.
You can start at the lake. Best I could do for artwork.
More than adequate.
I'll do. But the idea is it's this sort of very wide and flat lake in the middle of this sort of big open space, probably quite shallow as well, with a eerily perfect reflection of the sky in the water. Usually you'd expect general waves or even creatures living within to disturb the surface, but nothing seems to.
And this is the sun's mirror, is it?
And this is the sun's mirror.
Okay.
If I forget, I will move the token to there.
Dios is going to head down to the banks.
So you head down to the banks where, again, the water is so still it doesn't even lap against the shore. It's just sort of gently resting.
I'm going to fill my my skin with a water skin with water. I presume it's clean water.
As far as you can tell, it is still water, which isn't always the cleanest, but
No, but it looks clear.
it does look clear. You can't. It's not see-through, mainly because it's so still. It's reflective. So you place your water skin within, and there is quite an unusual amount of water resistance before you're able to actually put the cap of the water skin in as it fills. And even by putting something in the water, there's no ripples or over movement other than the water skin itself filling.
So once he's filled his water skin, he'll place it back in his pack. He'll then take his armor off.
Is anyone else around the sun's mirror
So
or interacting with the water at all?
on the southern bank is a large encampment, but you can't see any other peoples actually stood around that aren't part of that camp.
Say then, just walk up to Dios as he fills up his skin and just ask, do you know if we are supposed to be disturbing this water? You're the Heliod follower. This
Do I know
feels
anything about this?
sacred.
Make a history check.
Feels like a sacred spot.
Thing is, though, I think even if it was sacred, I think Dios would be okay to interfere with it.
I think of everyone here who's going to get away with it, I think it'd be you.
So with that, you'd know the outlines of the main story. The cult of Heliod spreads in, at least in the south, about the sun's mirror, as it's not the most talked about myth, considering it's so far away from civilization. From what you remember, it was a story from the war between the Titans and gods, where a Titan had managed to free itself from the underworld, and Heliod had created and enchanted this lake as a barrier to keep it from being able to enter Theros proper.
Okay. So this is very much a holy site with
Yeah.
Heliod direct intervention.
It's definitely a holy site. It's not the type of holy site that people would go on pilgrimage to go and see in that sense, mainly because it's quite far out of the way. But
Well, what I'm asking is definitely something that Heliod actually
Yes.
created.
As far as you're aware, yes.
Okay. That's all Dios really needs to know.
Yeah.
So he's going to take his armor off, just place it reverently on the shore, go down to the banks and just step into the water slightly and just drop to his knees, just so the water's about just over it where his knees are. And he's just going to say a few prayers, make sure that his conscience is clear and all of that. And then he's just going to stand back up and walk in.
You're walking further into the lake.
Yes. He's essentially baptizing himself.
So, as you step into the lake, again, the water doesn't seem to react to you. So it moves out of the way as you push through it, but it doesn't ripple, it doesn't flow in that sense. And as you wade a little bit deeper, you get a bit of a tinge of concern. Because just from the shores, you were able to see the shadows of the creatures living within. And while it is a lake, the chances are they are just regular fish. If the story that you know is true, the bottom of this lake connects to the underworld, or at least connects to a way a titan tried to rip its way free. And that little tinge of concern sticks in the back of your mind.
I wouldn't think so with Dios. I think Dios is full of the love of Heliod at the moment, and he truly believes that Heliod would protect him from anything here.
Yeah, you've definitely got the will and faith to fight past it. It's more just sort of natural instinct of this is dangerous, but I don't
he's
care
not
because
go...
Heliod's there for me, kind of thing.
Yeah, he's not going to go diving into the lake. He's
Yeah.
just walking down the bank until he's submerged.
So completely submerged in?
Yes, essentially.
Okay. I need you to roll a d20 for me. Okay. Do you open your eyes while underwater?
I do not. What I do, however, is I will use one of my channel divinities to essentially do Radiance to the Dawn and allow sunlight to pass through me while I'm underwater.
Okay. Remind me again of what Radiance of the Dawn does as like effects to everything else. Yep. So it's dispelling magical darkness and doing radiant damage. Okay. So for those on the surface, you just see Dios wade into the water and then nothing. For Dios, you feel something pass by you, sort of something swim or at least move by you. But you can tell that the moment you channeled the radiance of the dawn, it very quickly retreated.
Yeah. Once I channel that, I will just turn around and head back onto the shore, feeling cleansed and closer to his deity.
Okay.
I will start buckling my armor back up.
While Dios is baptizing himself, what's everybody else doing?
Like to stare at the like scuttle closer to it, but very much never getting within a couple of feet of the shoreline. I don't like this water. Staring into the mirror, does it just show the sky, or is there a hint? Can I feel the presence of the gods through the mirror? Can I see them?
As you bend to look at the water, you can see your own reflection, and you see the reflection of the sky. It's not night yet, so you can't fully see the stars.
No.
But you definitely get the feeling that water is not this reflective and still at all.
Yes.
Magic and very powerful magic is involved.
Feels holy, but doesn't feel so holy.
It's definitely not holy water. I'll give it that.
I'll just walk back.
So, anyone else interacting with the lake directly, or with the camp to the south, or on the south bank?
I wouldn't be opposed to heading to it.
It does smell like food, which is always nice.
Yeah, Scuts would definitely be gravitating towards that smell of roasting meat.
So, are you all heading that way, or are we just sending Scuts and Zolk as your ambassadors?
I'll head over there as well.
Yeah,
Okay. So we'll
always
send,
down for some mead.
we'll send the party to the party.
Wahoo!
As you arrive at a varied amount of tents, probably a good couple dozen, probably about 50 to 60 tents, all in this sort of makeshift settlement, with one much larger one in the dead centre. There's no guard, as far as you can see, but it is quite heavily populated. I'd say heavily populated. There's probably about 100 or so people, or peoples here. Mostly Leonin and Tabaxi, but there are a handful of Turtle, Loxodon, Centaurs, Leonin Lamia, Lizardfolk, and Minotaur that you can spot. They do seem to be gathered around various campfires, roasting foods, cooking, chopping vegetables, and sharing drinks and stories.
Very quick look. There aren't any scorpion lamia, are there, by any chance?
Make a perception check.
Nothing around here. Curious. You never know.
The only Lamia you can spot are the Leonin ones.
Yes.
So you're not sure whether they're the only ones here.
Are any of the tents? I see smoke above a lot of the tents and around the pits of where they're cooking foods. Does any of the smoke look sort of more pearlescent? Does any of it look more sort of almost ritualistic, as if special things were being, incenses were being burned?
Not that you can see, no.
Okay. Are all the tents essentially the same, or are there this
So there's
key one in the
there's the one key one in the dead centre that is very clearly it's probably about 4 or 5 times the size of the other tents, whereas the others are more like teepees and sort of you'd probably be able to fit 4 or 5 people in there at most, whereas in the centre one you could fit pretty much everybody that's here. And yeah, there's small. Probably each gathering's probably about 20 or so strong, with various foods and drink, either roasting over the fire or being shared about. You have been spotted by the people here, but aside from a few sort of friendly smiles, waves, and occasional cheers, you definitely don't feel out of place. Nobody here seems to be like giving you the side eye or anything like that. Almost like it was. It's not unexpected for you to be seen here.
Dios, do you know anything about the customs here?
I know
This
that I
place?
was sent to the Sun's Mirror. Well, when we came across those travelling Leonin, the hunters, they did say that I should probably talk to someone called the Speaker. And I would find her here. So, yeah, I'll start asking around to see if I can find out who and where this Speaker might be.
So, just going towards the first little gathering of peoples.
Well, Dios is quite a friendly chap. He's he's used to travelling to various different places and essentially integrating himself into them as a traveller.
Without a doubt, this is the most Leonin you've ever seen in one place.
Yes. So yeah, Dios is very keen to spend a little bit of time here, if nothing else, but to find out a little bit about where he came from.
So you head towards the nearest camp cookout, to which as soon as you get close, a large Minotaur holds up a second mug towards you. Welcome, fair traveller. Come, sit, have something to eat, drink, share some stories.
And this is a Leonin, correctly?
This is a Minotaur.
It's a Minotaur, okay.
There are
Greetings,
Leonin
friend.
here, it's just that the Minotaur in this particular group is the one that spoke first.
Greetings, friend. Thank you. Don't mind if I do. And I'll take the mug off him. Is it alcoholic?
It is.
Okay, I will make a token gesture of drinking from it, but I definitely don't.
Yes. You hold it up to your lips, but don't tip it back enough for anything to touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dios is sober. I'm not. Dios is.
Come, sit, have something to eat, warm yourselves by the fire. You look weary, travellers.
It has been an exceptionally long road, my friend. My name is Dios. Yourself?
Pleasant to meet you. Ajar.
Pleasure's mine, Ajar. Is this your band? Traveller companions?
Nah, just people we've met here and there. Saying hello, making the kids are okay. You know how it goes.
Absolutely. I'm a travelling person myself. I know how it goes.
This your first time at the speakers camp?
Yes, it's the first time being around so many Leonin, if I'm being quite honest with you.
They're a pleasant folk. You don't need to get nervous, mate. But, strange for you, it's your first time here. You look like someone that's travelled a lot. This is the place where travellers far and wide come and, rest up for a bit, and they know that it's a safe place to bring up the little ones before they go out on their own, you know?
I think so. My travels haven't really sent me this far north before. I'm typically confined to the southern reaches, but fate has sent me this way, and I was told that here would be a fruitful place to stop. So
A Southland Leonin. Phew. I've seen it all.
I know. My story is complicated.
I'll tell you who'd want to hear it. The Speaker Council.
Okay. Where can I find them? I'd love to tell it.
Oh, they're in the main hut. In the middle of teaching at the moment, so you may want to wait for kids to finish, or you can go sit in if you really want to. But there's plenty of food and drink to go around, mate. Don't worry.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I will have a rummage around in my pack, and I will add some of my own rations to the supplies, just to say thank you.
Another hunter.
When you're on the road as much as I am, knowing how to catch your own meals is a definite blessing.
Say no more, friend.
I will sit and just chat with him and the group, just quite happily for as long as it takes for the kiddies to come out of the main tent.
While this is happening, is anyone else doing anything?
Having a look around this particular tent, are there any particularly sort of scarred or battle-hardened looking Leonin?
Everyone here looks like they have definitely seen a fight or two in their lives. You don't survive in Araskos without having to deal with the wildlife here.
It's sort of seen. Is there sort of grabbing a drink from the bar very quickly?
Well, there's no bar. You could just go up to a campsite and just fill up a mug from many of the large jugs.
It's just going free. I just sort of walk over to one and pour out a glass. I just sit by whatever the most scarred-looking warrior is.
Make a insight check for me. Okay. Most scarred. So is there a particular race you're looking for a scarred on, or are you just looking for the most scarred person here?
Scarred, actually, yeah, just the most scarred.
You find a Loxodon with one broken tusk, missing
And I
half
did
his
the noise.
ear, scars completely all over his body, with a set of quite damaged armor by his side.
I just sit down and say, "Hail, friend." Slightly gritted teeth as I say it.
Hail to you. Come from far?
My background doesn't matter to you. I sort of
Yeah.
put away my ring of position of privilege and say, "My name is forgotten. I am on."
Jim.
Well, if you've
Definitely
forgotten something,
forgotten.
best place to come is here. Speakers know everything.
You read my mind, Loxodon friend. Tell me, do the speakers speak to the gods, or do they...
Fuck the gods. Nah, they speak to us. They speak to the stories of the people of Theros. The pure strength of all the mortals.
I sort of laugh slightly and say, what strength was it that cleaved your tusk then?
Ha! This old thing. Taking down a hill giant was this one. A tough
I
old
fought through.
bastard.
I just look at him and say, you think the gods weak? Or you think you just don't need their blessings?
Definitely don't think we need them. I can't deny they exist. Can't deny that they're up there. But what have they done for us? Nothing. Do we need to sacrifice to him? No. Because the sun's still going to go round. Life's still going to go on. But all that matters is we look after each other. You know what I mean, friend? And he raises his glass and drinks it. Or at least his mug and drinks it.
Oh. I just look at him. I'll just quiz a bit more and say, strange for a camp of people who follow gods to live by something, a clear blessing of Heliod.
Yeah, it's a fresh source of water, mate.
You not thankful?
Also, we don't live here. This is a moving settlement. We up sticks and move when the weather changes. We're staying here while we've got fresh water, and when it dries, we move on to the next.
Travellers, tell me then, have you been by Akros in your travels recently?
Wrong side of the mountains,
Towards the
mate.
great deserts. But you are mighty mortals. Surely the mountains are no deal for your great strength.
Oh, not at all. But we unusual folk aren't quite welcome in the south, are we?
True.
But I'll tell you who would
Honestly.
know about some desert near Akros. Speakers. I said they'd know everything about anywhere and everyone. Well, as far as I'm aware.
I look to him. Does he look... Is he just wearing just like pretty basic sort of clothing? He's not wearing any particular kind of armour or...
So his armour's on the floor next to him, and he's just in a basic tunic.
Appear. Does it look... Does it look like something scratched off at any... Essentially, is the general wear and tear, does it look like it's from battle, or does it look like self-inflicted?
Make a make a perception check.
Perception, don't fail me now.
It's definitely not purposeful. It doesn't look like anything's been scratched out or scratched off. But this was the most heavily scarred person you could see, and that includes their armor. It is desperate to go to a forge and get like sort of retooled to actually offer any protection whatsoever. It's that badly damaged.
I'll just say, you travelling bands confuse me. You're clearly powerful, but you have no direction, no purpose. You annoy me, Loxodon.
We have purpose.
You sit by power.
Purpose is here to look after each other. Mortals got to look out for mortals, mate.
Mortals. You disgrace yourself, sir. You protect each other while no one's at your borders. But your time will come. Your people will have to choose a side. I'll give him a little Mogis calling card. Think about it. I'm just going to go. I don't like these hippies. I walk out of the tent.
You can,
I'm just gonna
as you walk away, you can see him chuck the card into the fire as he continues to pick up a piece of meat and eat it.
I do the new Pogis holy symbol as I walk out the door. Heathens.
Oh. Anyone else wanting to interact with these fine folk?
I'm waiting to see the speakers, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of like the sound of speakers.
So, Scuds, Nadrin,
Maybe.
Zolk, Bennett, anything?
No, Bennett's not interested in
Not particularly
interacting
interested?
with them.
Fair.
No.
No, I'm not particularly interested in interacting with them
Okay.
either.
Zolk's
They
a lot
are
of food.
dismal folk.
Zolk, you're a bit sort of not used to the fact that nobody is scolding you for just taking food. That the food is very much sort of free to everybody.
Oh. Alright,
Where's the fun in
that
that?
gets rid of the further line of questioning. Moving on.
Guts will sit there with a big old hunk of meat as she looks through the crowd, kind of, now that she knows Unibors are still out there, just kind of hoping.
Make a perception check.
I almost just went for my actual dice. You said perception?
Perception, yeah. But you don't
No.
see any Unibor that you can, at least through the crowd, and it is quite crowded and all of these quite tall tents. But what you do notice is the lack of reaction to you. In the sense that nobody's like, oh look, it's a Unibor. I've never seen one before, kind of thing. Everyone's just accepting it was a normal thing.
She shovels another big mouthful of meat into her face, and then she'll go find Dios and just start trying to relax around so many people.
Yeah, you notice that Dios is a little bit on edge as well from being around so many people, especially so many Leonin. He's not comfortable with it because he doesn't know anything about his people.
Do the introvert thing and not know anyone together.
So about an hour or so passes as you eat and take a breather. So you would be considered to have had a short rest for keeping track of abilities. Until you see, for want of a better term, a horde of children exit the main hut, escorted by a centaur that seems to be partially made of magic, as well as another Loxodon, this one in much more dignified robes. Lead them, make sure that they were all getting back to the right parents.
Looking around the camp, are there any just like children play fighting?
I mean,
Even just
the children,
anyone
of course,
play
they are.
fighting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then-
Go on.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, it's all Poker's going to do whilst he's waiting for things around the speakers' things. I just sort of like start giving javelins out. Start arming the local youth.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to stand up. I'll just put my hand on Scuts' shoulder and give it a quick squeeze and say, "Wish me luck." And I'm going to walk towards the speaker's tent.
So, is it just Dios going to the speaker's tent, or is anyone else
I
going
think
with?
Dios would want to go alone on this one. If
I'll
anyone
wait
did try to
behind.
follow him, I think he'd very politely say, this one's for me."
I'd like to ask some questions at some point, but I won't enter with Dios.
So, you stepping aside to a quite simplistic tent, or at least a hut. It's got a wide open space that is had a little bit of a chance to be cleared away from whatever the kids were doing. There seems to be 5 sort of chairs in a line, as well as several cushions in the main hall itself that seem to be on a slightly raised platform to make sure that they're on eye level with those in the chairs. 2 chairs are empty, but going from left to right, the outside chairs are empty. The second one in seems to have a turtle that seems to be quite heavily covered in fauna, in sort of moss and mushrooms and such. The one in the centre is a Leonin, only significantly taller, bright white fur with deep black stripes and long flowing white hair in golden robes. And the last, or in the chair next to him, is a creature that you've only seen one before. One that's in the party. Only this one is male, significantly older, and with a broken horn, as you see a Unibor sat on the 4th seat. The 5th seat is empty.
I walk in. I leave my pike propped up against the door or the flaps of the tent, and I go in unarmed. Despite the fact that Dios himself is a weapon.
Yeah.
I will approach to a respectable distance, and I will take a very deep bow and just say, "Greetings, Speaker Council. My name is Dios Plainsguide, and I seek your wisdom and your knowledge."
Quite overly formal of you. But we're all friends here. Come, take a seat. Says the Leonin in the centre.
I kind of stand up and just... Dios looks confused for a second, but takes his lead and immediately moves towards one of the seats.
So it points to the cushions on the area in front.
Yeah, so Dios kneels on the cushions and just folds his hands in front of him very neatly.
Forgive the lower seating, but old age and bad backs. So, you're a new face here, Dios Plainsguide. A long way from where you grew, I can tell.
Is it that obvious? I grew up in the south of Theros. I have never been this far north. In fact, I've never seen as much Leonin in one place before. I know nothing of my race and our customs, and
Well,
I'm keen to learn.
allow me to put you a little bit at ease and allow us to introduce ourselves in the Southlander way. This is Arkelos. They're a bit of a odd one. Don't ask a question unless you want a long answer. Oh, there's Arkelos.
I like him.
I don't have artwork for the next one, but on the other side, an old friend of mine. but not one to give his name. Although to that he sort of scowls a bit. And as for myself, a Johnny Pridemane, speaker of the Leonin.
It is my honor to meet you all.
The honor is ours, do not worry. For we care only about the stories that we can tell and share and learn.
Then, may I ask if you would know anything of me? My past is a blank. I was raised by people who found me. Beyond that, I know nothing.
He steps out of his chair and comes towards you and leans in uncomfortably close, almost to the point where your noses are touching. And you really get the scale of this Leonin. Leonins don't tend to get this big. So
he's much bigger than Dios.
So he's probably about 7 to 7.5 foot tall.
Oh wow, he's a big boy.
So a typical Leonin, even on the tall end, wouldn't get too much far over 6 foot. So yeah, there's something.
Dios is a big Leonin. He's 6'3".
Yeah, and this guy's uncomfortably bigger. Like, it's to the point where it's a defining feature.
Yeah.
And he leans in uncomfortably close and just sort of stares directly into your eyes. I see. I guess we all have something new to learn. As he steps back and plonks down with a sigh in the chair. A cultist of Heliod, I assume.
Born and raised into the Dawn Lord's light.
Born is a interesting choice of words there, friend.
My earliest memory is being with the clergy. If that's not being born into it, what else could it be?
No knowledge of your progenitors?
None. None at all. Not even a flash, a scent.
Oh,
Nothing
interesting.
At all.
And your pride name? Not one that I've heard before, Plains Guide.
I believe it was given to us by the clergy.
Oh, interesting. I have some assumptions about your story so far, but it is clear to all of us here that your story is only just begun to be told.
Theos just nods at that. Anything you can shed light on would put me at ease greatly. The world is a fraught place as it is. When you don't know where you come from, it becomes exceptionally lonely.
The turtle sort of pipes up a little bit. You have died.
Yes. And you see, they would see that it was a difficult admission to make for Dios.
And you did not come back as you once were.
What did I come back as?
That
I should be dead.
Is yet to be told. But I think the answer is in sight.
You see, they would see Dios gripping his palm together, digging his claws into his own fist, and they would see blood dripping as he tries to deal with the fact that he is not as dead as he should be, and he has no idea why.
You have a long, long life ahead of you, my friend. But it is not normal to survive death. Not for a mortal, anyway.
Something intervened in my death, and I'm not entirely convinced it was Heliod.
I may need to have my counsel and discuss. I am sorry that we have no direct answers to give you right away, but if you would be so kind as to stay and rest and recover from your long journey, I would like to speak to you at some point.
I would be happy to. I will turn to the Unibor now and just say, I have a friend outside, a travelling companion, someone I trust dearly. They would benefit from speaking to you in particular. May I show them in?
I don't think anybody would benefit from my particular wisdom, but
You will know when you see her. You will understand. Trust me on this.
he just sighs in acceptance.
Okay. I will stand back up. I will take a bow again, thank them for their time, and I will head out, and I will just make a beeline for Scuts. Scuts,
Scott stops arm wrestling with Jim and looks over at Dios.
come here.
Hey, Dios.
Come here. Come here.
Oh. What's up? As she starts to follow him.
I will-
Curious now.
I'll just take one of her elbows in my hand and just start leading her towards the tent. Now, I'll just say to her, now, I don't want to spread any panic or alarm, but you know how you wanted to know a little bit about where you've come from?
Yeah?
One of the speakers is a Unibor, and I have made arrangements for you to speak to him.
It stops dead in her tracks. As soon as you say Unibor.
He just looks at you dead in the eyes. Would you like me to come with you?
She nods. She's just beyond words right now as she begins walking more hastily now, where Dios was trying to lead her.
Yeah, I'll grab her by the hand and just start directing her towards the tent. And we'll head in together.
Guts takes in a deep breath before she steps in through the tent.
Anyone else going in with, or are you just enjoying the festivities?
I'll leave that one. That one seems personal. Seems delicate.
He'll just stand by the door and listen in.
So I'll
Free food.
20 in a patient queue.
Me and Neil are just going to be hanging out, eating people's food.
Best way for it. It's our own fault for not charging you for it.
Absolutely. So I will lead Scots into the tent, and I will bow towards the speaker's council again, and then I will turn to the Unibor and says, "Honoured sir, this is my close friend Scots. She would like to know more of her origins. Like me, she has never seen one of her kind before. You are the first. Any information you could give her would help her immensely." Then I will bow again, and I will just take a position at the tent flap inside, but away, and allow Scuts to talk to the council on her own terms.
Scuts is going to step forward, just jaw on the floor as she sees this other Unibor.
So the Unibor stands from his chair. You can tell with a little bit of difficulty. He is at your best assumption. It's kind of hard to age Unibor. He's probably in his late 50s, early 60s. Quite heavily weathered, so definitely has a few battle scars, a lot of wrinkles. But his most defining feature is the fact that his horn has been split. It only has the bottom about 1/3 before ending in a golden cap. And he steps towards you and says a few words you don't particularly understand before bowing his head forward.
Skuts just kind of squints and waves back, kind of sheepishly.
He looks confused and then says something else that you don't quite understand.
She says hello, but this time in primordial.
Okay. He looks again quite confused before. Do you not speak our tongue?
No, Granny never taught me.
How can an elder not teach something so fundamental as our sacred language?
Granny taught me how to speak primordial and how to pet Mr. Barbles and how to make some really sick quilts. But no, she never taught me that.
And not even the traditional greetings, or
What? No.
what
Wow.
do you know? I don't understand how an elder would not teach one of our people's ways.
Dios will step in at this point and just say, Granny was not a Unibor. Granny is an Archon, a flesh shaper of the mountains. Not particularly pleasant to be around. I'm sorry, Scuts, but she isn't.
Suit yourself.
At the name, you see him sort of tense up before regaining his composure. That is unsettling. What do you know of our culture?
Well, all I've ever known is life at Granny's, ever since I was little. And the only time I feel like sometimes it was just a dream. I remember looking up at the sky and seeing the lights, but there was a bigger hand next to mine, but it wasn't Granny's. It was two fingers just like mine.
The light? You mean the ancestors?
Is that where the lights come from?
Come,
No one else can see them.
sit
Dios.
with me. And he moves
Sorry,
back to his chair and points to the cushion in front of him before turning to his fellow Speaker Council and requesting for privacy. And they do respect him, although reluctantly, as they do feel that stories shared are more important.
Do you want Dios to leave, or do you wish for him to stay?
The Unibor doesn't directly tell you to leave. Well, Ajani and Arkelos have to walk past you to leave, so it depends on whether you want to join them or not.
I will take the hint and I will follow them out.
Okay.
If Scuts wants to share the story afterwards, I'm sure she will. But
It's a really good listening spot just out the door, by the way.
Yeah, as soon as you step outside, you see
They're
the
not
rest
very
of the
thick.
party.
as I walk past the door, I just wave my hands a little bit and I'll just put a zone of silence in front of the door. So no sound will get through it.
Okay.
This is Scuts' time. It's not for us to listen in. And I will shoo the rest of the party away.
So the old Juniper sort of leans in. I don't want to believe what I think I'm believing, but I will accept that you are not raised as Unibor. Have you ever been to a crash?
A what? She shakes her head.
Okay.
I've been to Granny's.
I am not the most equipped to the one to be explaining such, not wanting to infect with shame, if you understand. But if you are able to see our ancestors in the skies and follow their paths, where they pool, where they gather and rest, that is where we also gather and rest. If you follow, you will find more of us. And if you find an elder and explain what has happened, and don't tell them that you met me.
Okay. Are you on a secret mission?
If only it was that fun. No, I am an exile. I am not welcome, nor do I have a name. When one of our peoples commits a great failure, or a great sin, our names are stripped from us and we are cast out. But I still believe that experience needs to be shared, and if I am not eligible to become an elder and teach the next generation of us, I can try and help the new generations of others.
Beth kind of wants to give him a hug, but also has no idea what atrocity it would cause somebody to take your name away and kick you out, so maybe she should not hug him.
It's up to you if you want to ask it.
Alright.
Try and press him for more details.
Sure. Wow, that's pretty rough, buddy. Wow, what did you do to get kicked out?
Make a persuasion check.
I really gotta know.
He looks into your puppy dog eyes as your bottom lip quivers in desperation to know what this exile did to be so heinously punished. And you can see him strain and try and keep himself composed as to not bring potential dishonor. But Caves, as you are probably the first Unibor that he's seen in a long time as well. I was once a protector. What would be the equivalent? A paladin. Supposed to protect one of the crash. And I failed in that duty. Seems to be trying to keep it as vague as he can, but you get the feeling that a couple more prods and he'll probably keep going.
What's a crash, and what did you?
Well, he
what
said
did you fail?
the crash is where if you follow the path of the ancestors to where it pulls, that's where essentially what you could call a crash. I forgot what the name we came up for with it, so that was the first thing that came to my mind. I'm sorry.
No, that works. But yeah, and what happened? I need to know. She just like has these big puppy dog eyes.
I was on duty. I was to be protecting one of the main outcrops of our peoples, our main sources of trade. These magical herbs that grow in the waters where the paths end. And we were attacked. A giant flaming three-headed monster. And I tried to fight it, but none of us were strong enough. And it escaped with a bag in each mouth. And normally that would not have been a punishable offense, but luck was... No, that's the coward's way out. I was not aware enough of my surroundings, and I let a calfling be stolen. There was a calfling in one of those bags, and I did not know.
You might.
And when that was discovered, my horn was docked, and I was exiled.
About how long ago did this happen?
Probably about... It was a good age ago. I doubt the calfling survived becoming that monster's dinner, but I have been wandering for about 20 to 30 years.
Guts is at least smart enough to put together the pieces that might have been the night
time.
she went missing. Now
I
I feel
forgot
really
how
bad he
old
lost
you
his
actually
sword.
said Scots was, so...
It doesn't matter,
I
it's close
assumed that
enough.
was close enough. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, I know now. I should have just checked the character sheet first.
Oh god. Don't worry. So that means my family might still be out there. Thank you for telling me where I can find them.
I hope you'll find better luck than the calfling whose life I failed.
Should she tell him?
That's entirely up to you.
Scuts is gonna put a hand on his shoulder, and she's gonna look him deep in the soul. I know you may not ever be able to go back, but maybe a little weight can be lifted. I think I'm that calf.
He puts his hand on your arm. I gave up on that hope a long time ago, and while the sentiment is appreciated, I know you are looking for answers and hoping to find it in the first person that you meet. But I don't think I'm the one. The elders, they will tell you the right stories and teach you the right ways. I am sorry for what you have suffered through, and I hope you can rejoin the herds soon. But for me, forget that you spoke to me. Forget the story I told. For if you pass this particular one on, it will only continue to bring shame. There is a reason why, when we lose our names, we lose everything. It means our stories are not allowed to be told. Our stories are forgotten. We don't exist.
Well, listen, on this day, your story really mattered to me, and I'm grateful that you told it. And you'll forever have a name from me. It'll be Buddy. Because now I can find my way home thanks to you. And she is gonna give him that hug. And then she's going to take her leave from the tent.
It definitely stiffens up at the hug. As far as you can tell, it's either a case of extreme social anxiety of not seeing another Unibor in 24 years, or it's not a typical way Unibor that have just met each other interact with one another. Not entirely sure which is which. Could be both, could be neither, but
I'm oblivious enough to not care either way.
The right answer.
She's gonna finish off with a high five, put her hand up for a high five before she leaves. When he doesn't get it, she's gonna gently grab his hand and press it into hers like a high five. What buddies do. And then she's going to leave the tent.
Okay.
Find Dios leaning on his pike a small distance away.
Scots is going to beeline it straight to Dios. Dios?
He just looks at you very quizzically.
I think Granny accidentally stole me on some kind of herb heist.
Wish I could say I was surprised, Scott, but she has form. But I'm glad you got some answers.
We have to go where the lights pool so I can find the rest of the... There's more Unibor out there, Dios.
I
We
look
can
at the
find
sky.
them.
Do I see any lights?
You do not know. It
Sorry,
is
Scott.
night time, so the stars are out, but you don't see any lights in the sky.
Sorry, Scott. I still don't see them, but point us in a direction and I will follow.
Can Scuts look up and see the lights? Are there... I guess... No, because we made a promise to go to the sea next. We'll follow the lights later. But Scuts will look up them.
The
Look
lights
up
have
at
been
them
there
longingly.
since session 1, so they'll be there in session 30.
But now she knows what they mean.
So,
Oh my god. Curveball.
also, I like that the lore is now that Granny stole you during a drug bust.
Yeah.
The light version is she was just picking some herbs and just... You know how it is.
Why are drug busts a theme in our games?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was just me as a player, but no, it's not.
It's not, is it?
She was the
It's just us.
We've got Zulks that are now addicted. We've got Granny stealing herbs.
Nightmare.
So,
We seem to have a thing for drug heists and cults.
yes, and cults. Definitely
Not
cults.
cult. Come on.
Oh, speaking of
Hogeg's
that,
not a cult, it's a state of mind.
Sogeg, make a perception check.
I was definitely staring at the sky, as I will wish upon a dream. That little old star, what does it show me?
You definitely look up in the sky, and as much as you pointed out to other people that just can't see what you're pointing at, you swear you can see a cluster of stars that are oddly red-shaped, or at least red-shaded, and shaped in the form of a squat, two-headed gnome-like creature.
My claws in triangular form atop my head. A beaded tear. As I'll make a promise. I'll make sure they know your name, Poge. Don't know your name.
So, is there anything else you want to do in the speaker's camp?
Nap time. Find
I
somewhere
would
to
like
Other than
sleep.
to
having
talk to the speaker.
a nice long rest, but you can speak to the speakers.
I
At
want to
this
hang
point,
around until they come back to speak to me, I think.
yeah, the council has disbanded a little bit at this point, but they might reconvene still during that because it's probably about 6 or 7 p.m. So it's there's still time to hang about.
I can wait for the morning. Talk to them when they're nice, bright and early. Are they actually like have they left the tent? I know 2 of them left, but
So 4 of them have left at this point, but you get the feeling that they'll probably come back once they realise that the exile doesn't want to, or has finished talking and doesn't need privacy anymore.
I'll wander into the tent.
So,
Everyone starts to go to bed.
Yeah, about an hour or so after Scott's conversation, you wander back into the tent to see the 5 chairs all sort of facing a little bit towards each other, as all 5 individuals are sort of deep in discussion.
I'll just walk up to the chair that was laid out that I now see for the first
So,
time.
There's no chairs in that sense. So there's the
Little
5
spot point.
there's the 5 chairs for the council, and everything else is like large cushions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
their explanation is that they're too old to sit on the floor, so they've got actual supported chairs.
Yes.
But they have raised the cushions so that they're not sat above you.
Up to a cushion then. I take my helm off and I place it on the cushion. I just stand looking at the speakers.
They stop mid-conversation and turn towards you before Ajani begins to speak. Another newcomer. Seems like the stories have come to convene tonight. And how can we help you, Jim?
I hear the name as it answers my question. And I just ask him and say, you may not have heard my story, but I think I've heard yours, speaker. Far off in the Westlands, we talk of you and your way with words. Tell me, have you heard of the royal line Afasto?
I'm quite aware of the treachery of Phobos. An interesting tale and very misleading. Shows you the hubris of placing your faith in gods that care little for mortals, but shows you the power of community and determination.
He will bite as he says, misleading. I say, do you think the old tale's untrue? That Ishak did not meet his fate for treachery for some other reason?
Oh, I definitely believe the tale has truth to it, but I believe its interpretation has been altered with time, as all stories do, trying to bring glory to gods that don't deserve it, rather than telling the tale of a mortal who fought and tried, only to be betrayed by the gods he served. I see Ishak as a tragic figure, not somebody that was an endless conqueror or some deadly heathen, but somebody that placed his faith and got burned for it.
Oh, I'd just say I disagree. I see his form as power, and I see it as a great force not awakened yet, biding his time to fight not against the gods that betrayed him, but his family who exiled him. What do you know of his curse?
Only what the stories have said, that Ishak was immortal, and yet had his form twisted and tortured, living in endless pain, weeping for the loss of his desert empire.
Sort of almost surprised and not at the lack of sort of divine knowledge of it. Not that's the wrong word, but essentially they are the storytellers.
They are storytellers.
I'll ask him.
Almost like that's
Yeah, that's what I mean.
speaking.
Almost like sacred. I was thinking more like, supernatural storytellers. But I'm going to ask him. You speak of tales not many know. Even in Akros, the tale of Ishak is whispered. Do you know of stories of the gods? If you hate them so,
Of course
do
we
you
do.
at least know their tale?
We know all the stories, at least the ones that we have heard. But we make sure to keep their interpretations clean, to remove propaganda from them, so as not to reinforce their way of affecting the world.
Listen, my friend, I can get behind a good butt burning, but I need facts. Okay, I just ask, then you know of Mogis, perhaps most detestable of gods to you. It's a general question to him.
I wouldn't call him the most detestable, for at least Mogis is predictable.
And have you heard tales of him giving... What's the word? Not tribulations. Have you heard of him giving tests out to his followers, stripping them of their names?
Not that I've heard. His tests are much more direct than that. His tests are much more likely to send you on a bloody path, or to slay a great monster, or to spit in his god brother's eyes.
You are not wrong about Mogis, but I have a tale you have not heard before. Perhaps you would like to hear it.
Oh, we are always welcome to more tales.
I say, Mogis, champion of blood. You speak of the gods of deception. I think you misunderstand Mogis as one of true power in giving those who would wield it the potential. Let me tell you of the story of Sogeg the brave and mighty, stripped of his name by Mogis. At first thought a curse, a joke name be given to him, but it was to show him true power. For power's not in a name, power's in the raw will to take what's yours. And so you will hear of Sogeg, maybe Jim. You'll hear of his great deeds, and only when he gets his name back will he have the true might to take back what is his. I don't think you fully understand your dislike of the gods. I think you misunderstand them, for they give us mortals the power to shape our world. He also gave me a really cool spear that glows red when I get angry. That's pretty good as well.
The turtle pipes up a little bit. That is not why you lost your name.
Are you sure? Wink, wink.
I think I know that what you do defines what you are. It matters not what you call yourself, only what others call you.
Whoa. That was deep, tortoise. I just looked at the tortoise and I'll say, so you know my true name then?
I believe we all do. As Johnny pipes up. We can easily tell when a story has become twisted, has become detrimental to the world. And you carry with you more than your fair share.
I'll just ask Johnny then, mostly because he speaks on my wavelength, I think. I'll just ask one more question. I'll just say, you've spoken of old tales, but do you know anything new? You speak of stories. What do you think the ending of this one will be?
That is for the future to tell, my friend. The point of stories is to make sure that history isn't forgotten, not that the future is predicted. We need to make sure that our youths grow in a way that surpasses us, that makes sure that mortals can fend for themselves off the backs of the knowledge of their ancestors.
I look to him almost like different wavelengths. I sort of start to say something along the lines of, you walk into nothing if you have no plan of the future. But I don't know, I think I sort of cut myself off. I just pick up my great hat and say, we may visit again. There may be more stories for you to hear. I'll be very interested if you hear more of Ishak the Mighty.
As you leave,
I'll give him a curt nod.
yeah, as you leave, the turtle pipes up one last time, not calling you back, but just, your story is only just beginning, Sogeg.
I like you, turtle. I won't make soup out of you.
I mean, he comes with all the extra like herbs and spices. They are growing on him.
They all got stolen, I thought.
Well, that's the Uniball ones. This guy, he's got plenty on him.
He's a very mushroom druid. I like him.
And as the old quote goes, life is not a race.
It is when the forest is on fire.
Yeah, there's that too. So, does anybody else want to speak to the speakers before you sleep for the night?
Bennett's good.
No, but I do have a question.
Okay.
As we've been just hanging out and just being around this area, have people been interacting with the water?
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
Okay.
People have been drinking water, but it's not come from the sun's mirror.
Okay.
So,
Like, if it is, sorry, is it still like dead of night, like early night?
so it's early night, yes.
Okay. Apologies, I think I cut you off.
I was just going to say that you find yourselves some warm fires to sleep next to. You don't need to count any rations for this long rest because you have ate and drank on the backs of all these kind peoples. So go ahead and give yourself a long rest. Get all your stuff back. Change your epithets if you wish to.
Just on the long rest, I'd like to actually, during the long rest, I'd like to actually take a good hunk of meat and go buy the the sun mirror
Okay.
and just sort of clamp. The desert here is very loose. It isn't hard sand like Akros. It's comfy to sleep in. Looking at the mirror, though, during the night, whilst I'm dreaming away, can I see like the faces of the gods in it? Or is it still just an eerie still
It's
like
a pure reflection of the sky. But when you look in the sky, you can see the faces of the gods in the constellations. So, yes, you would also see that in the reflection of the mirror.
If the speakers cared about gods, I would have waxed lyrical about New Pogeg. They don't even know.
I mean, they accept that the gods exist. They
much.
just don't think they deserve the reverence they get.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't want to start Pogeg's tail off as one of the people who don't appreciate him.
That is very true.
I want it to be people who appreciate him.
So, does anyone else want to do anything during their long rest?
That might be a thing.
Yeah, that's who I was hinting towards.
I forget the full wording on how this works, but I've got
Okay,
basic
let
idea.
me go and open up Dream for you. If you just go to the compendium, you can search for it and have it there, and it's in your character sheet, so the rules
right
are there.
So, good old Sogeg. You'll awaken, but not quite, in your slumber, and be met with a giant minotaur. The one you only know as Mogus. And he looks like he's frantically searching through all of his notes. My champion wasn't named Jim. Why is he a Jim? That's your dream.
Ooh.
It's an endless loop of
So
him
good.
going through all the engraved weapons of his champions, and he finally pulls up the Legendaries Eastern, and it says Jim on it. So that now even your god thinks you're called Jim.
You'd see in the dream, not necessarily Sogeg cowering, but more not necessarily a good kind of rage, but him just angering every time he hears Jim, to the point where he just lunge out at Mogis with his great Zeiston.
I need
I
a
imagine
wisdom
it's all-
saving
it's all
throw
bad
from
dreams.
you, Jim Gag.
At disadvantage.
I was going to say,
Why
it's,
would
it's
it
all
be a
good.
disadvantage?
Because I've got Sogeg body hair.
Okay. There you go. He'd steal some body hair from you while he was riding on your back. That is a fail. So yes, it does turn into a full nightmare that lasts the duration of your sleep and prevents you from gaining any benefit from the rest.
Lame.
And
I
you
say, as all bad dreams happen, as sort of as I lunge out to Mogis, I imagine he just turns around, smites me, and just as it would definitely hurt her, I just wake up in a cold sweat.
and you take 3d6 psychic damage if you want to roll that
Yup,
up.
I don't get a long rest.
Oh, you can
Oh,
just
Lord.
go back to sleep afterwards now that you've woken up.
Okay, well. Oh my god.
So
I
just
definitely
basically
will.
you've lost the first 2 hours of your rest, so just take an
I'm
extra.
sleeping in the night.
Yeah, it's 10 hours of rest instead of 8 hours. But if the 3d6 psychic damage kills you, whoops, it shouldn't do.
Can't,
But
unfortunately.
yeah,
We'd need to do 53 damage.
okay,
Almost.
That ain't it.
Would have been spooky.
I also need Sogeg to make a wisdom saving throw again.
Normal
This
disadvantage.
would be normal.
Ooh.
You are aware that Zolk stole that nightmare from you. As in, he not only gave you that nightmare, but he's using it for something.
So I'm aware that this is Zolk doing it.
Yes.
Okay, noted. Very noted.
Zolk, is there anything else you want to do with your 8 hours?
I want me fucking Doom Wheel.
You have one. It's a Doom Flyer, but it's a nightmare vehicle. It's
I honestly
copyright
don't
free. Have you actually read through it yet?
Yes,
Uh,
that's one of the things I've been focusing
let
on.
me remind myself of the extra things that it gets, and I think you have to physically fuel it. Yeah, you fuel it with an extra charge from your earworm. So as long as your earworm has a charge, you can give it an additional effect. So do if you want to use that now or later, the fueled by nightmares part.
Would the nightmare given to Sogeg count?
So the nightmare you gave to Sogeg made the vehicle, but you already had a charge in the earworm, so you can just use that as well.
All right, cool.
So you need a fresh nightmare to make it, and then another just general dream to feed it to get it one of the abilities. So if you want to use it now, because some of them are good at situational, but there's also ones that are just good in general.
Yeah, we'll go with the fourth option, which is all spells cast from inside of one level higher.
There you go. You need to stay in the helm, so you need to always be riding it, but...
Oh no.
So, I mean, if you cast while not in the driver's seat, it would cast normally, but while you're in the driver's seat, you can, when you cast, it's one higher, but that costs your action, so the nightmare vehicle will just keep driving at the same speed in the same direction, so you better hope you cast and not drive straight into a wall.
Wait, what?
So, to drive it, so not only do you sit in the driver's seat, but as an action, the driver can drive and steer the nightmare vehicle. So you actually have to use an action to tell it to do anything different than what you did on your last turn.
Oh.
So if you, in one turn, say I'm driving 120 feet in one direction, you can then just keep going that way and use your action for other things. But if you want to turn or slow down, you need to use your action for it.
This means the part where I read where I get to run things over makes a whole lot more
You
sense.
see why? Yeah, that's why you run things over with it, because you've already used your action to make sure you can do. And why it can only be used against a creature once per turn, so that you can't just drive back and forwards over the top of somebody.
Why can't I?
Because I said so, and you might be able to get a upgrade to get rid of that caveat.
Okay.
Depends on how much fun this is as it is.
I just want to run something over.
So you've got yourself a lawnmower.
So you don't know what hell you just unleashed. As Sogeg's second sleep definitely would bring him to rest, cool and train his mind. As he reflects on that nightmare, you see him training his dreams. As I'm going to swap out for the athletic.
That's how you had.
I now have proficiency in acrobatics, athletics, and I choose mixed unarmed combat as not unarmed combat, but pancration. So mixed unarmed combat, but it's essentially I get advantage when I try and make an arm wrestle now.
Yeah, pancration, yeah.
Train my dreams.
Or pancration, yeah, pancration. That's it.
Anything to
Pancration.
do with any skill checks to do with.
It's
mixed
essentially MMA.
Yeah. Not in actual combat, but if I do it playfully, I get advantage.
No, that would also count towards your tail, because it's unarmed combat.
Oh, so it's... Oh my god, I do jiu-jitsu with my tail.
So that would give you advantage on arm wrestling and other wrestling-based ones, and with anything mixed unarmed combat. So, yeah.
Pretty good. As
but you could have taken pentathlon for the javelin bonus.
I was thinking that, but I've also... Zolk has hardened my heart. As the Fisherman of Allies is gone, I now only know fighting and arm wrestling.
Meanwhile, flesh warping might be on the table.
Oh no.
Oh, you didn't get to ring your bell.
Love me a good flesh warp.
Can you do me a favour and cast one of your spells so you can ring your bell before we end the session?
Do that away from everyone else. Is it morning time yet? That's what I'm doing.
Because you would have had a short rest while you were sat waiting around, and I just really want to see if the roll table works well.
Okay, I'll just push a button then, shall I?
I appreciate that, thank you.
You attempted to
Jason,
do the roll
yeah.
command, and it failed,
Oh, you need to actually click on your tokens. Let me just for now.
which pop in the camp.
There you go. Oh,
So I definitely have questions
there's
for
Zolk.
Zolk in the morning
Just-
for
just hanging
why
out.
I got dreams definitely from him.
so yeah.
Vicious.
So what happens? There we go.
Oh my word. Oh my god.
Salt brings the rats.
Oh no. Oh no.
That is beautiful.
What hell has happened?
Yeah, every time you cast a spell of first level or higher, you roll on the Screaming Bell table. If you're casting with the Screaming Bell, if you're casting focus.
Why wouldn't I be?
Why wouldn't you be?
You might find out.
It's like wild magic, but better.
So, yeah, swarms of rats that are friendly to you. There's some other fun options in there as well. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Okay, so we'll end the session with the morning breaking. So we'll start next week with the meeting between Ajani and Dios, and then see where things go from there.
Oh, RP heavy shit. Okay, I'll make sure I'm prepared.
I mean, we'll.
No, I like RP.
Oh.
I mean, I'm here for it.
It's
You can always turn it into
kind of why I
combat.
was so
Stab him
excited
in
for
the
this.
face.
There's also that as well.
No, I like RP. I'm happy
Oh,
to
yes.
RP.
No stabbing Ajani. He's
Please
a
don't
nice kid.
stab a Johnny.
Anyone
Right,
stabs a
cool.
Johnny, Dios stabs them.
I hope I did his voice justice.
It's a win-win.
It was hard to do, or at least hard to work out what his voice would be. So I just went
Mate,
for
I
one
would-
basic sort of like
He-
overly proud.
I watched-
I'm amazing.
It was a
Mate, I was sold. I
Yeah.
want to talk to these people.
They're very cool.
And I wanted
So
to
they
make
haven't
the,
heard many tales.
Unibor sound like common is not their first language. This is why I gave them the Polish accent. I'm allowed to do that because my granddad was Polish. Anyway, right, end of session wrap up. For piety points, you get a point of piety if you're able to, which I think the majority of the party can't. I believe it's just Salt and Bennett that can at the moment. Oh, and
I think
Sogek can at the moment. Did you complete your minor divine agenda? Let's have a look at those.
That's a no.
Nope.
Yeah.
I misread mine, and then I saw it after it happened, and I was like, no. It's perfect, but I didn't do it.
That is
Look at
definitely a point for Zolk.
Right on the end.
Right at
Rat
the end,
bastard.
you just managed to get to it. But mainly because it was specifically from the dreams of your allies. I'll give a point to Bennett on that one. The things that were stalking you never really got to you, but there was also not really a good opportunity to do so. I'll let you know now that you're out of that dungeon. There were invisible stalkers walking around, waiting for you to go past the door to drag you into it.
Oh god.
But to be honest, you were too busy
Spooky.
running into doors yourself to need to do so. So, for Sogeg, no, definitely not. You did
No,
not collapse the entire
definitely not.
place in a devastating caving.
I'm genuinely gutted. I read that too late. I read the wrong minor agenda, or not. Read the wrong agenda, and I was like, no.
Right.
I totally would have done that.
You could have talked Scuts into helping too. She loves renovations.
It would have been perfect.
Did you
Exactly.
expand your god's influence in the
fail.
world in a concrete way? I'm actually going to give a point to Sogeg on this for Pogis.
Yes, Pogis. Evil little guy.
Okay. Did you diminish the influence for rival gods? No, there wasn't really moments to do so. And no divine interventions. Okay, story. So this is for everyone. You get a point of story for attending the session. Did you overcome a great challenge using violent or non-violent means? No, there was no great challenge. Did you make a significant discovery or unearth some lost history? Yes. There was some big moments there. Some that will still continue to be discovered next
Divine,
session
yeah.
by the sound of it. Did you perform an act worthy of a new epithet? Go on, sell me on your epithets. Anyone feeling it?
I'm now baptized.
Baptized? I will keep a note and I will give you a story point for that.
Yeah.
Not an epithet, but it's more, I guess. Well, it's story eventually. But if Mogis doesn't keep buttering me up, I'm definitely switching to the good word of Pogis. 100%. I like to think that Pogis is Pogeg is like literally, it's more story for him. But at the moment, the God Pantheon, there's just this little red cap running around kicking him in the shins, and there's nothing they can do about it.
That's why you've expanded your God's influence in the world, because now Mogis literally has a red cap to go and kick IRS in the shins for him.
Oh shit! I'm above 50 story now.
Which
So
means you can have 4. So yeah, if you're over 50 story, you get 4 epithets.
Yeah.
Again.
So it's if you're over 3 story, it's 1 epithet. If it's over 10, 2. If it's over 25, 3. And if it's over 50, 4.
I'm at 49. Holy shit.
I'm at 51, yay.
Well, if you could convince me you earned a new epithet today, you'd get to 50.
Second successful dream. I don't know.
I'm
Trying.
They auto succeed. Come on.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, someone slept nearby me. Can I get some story for that?
I mean,
that's lazy.
I was trying to think of a good gym one.
I will give one to Scuds for this, because although I'm not entirely sure what particular part of the conversation with the exile, I think it's probably going to be something to do with the awkward hug, or more the fact that it'll be the puppy dog eyes, the fact that somebody that's been hiding from the past for 25 years managed to just see puppy dog eyes and spill everything about it. So Scots will get a point for puppy dog eyes.
I'm gonna use the shit out of those. I'm gonna get an epithet. Oh, God, why? 22 seconds.
You can do it. I believe.
How many sessions in are we?
22.
And you still can't say it.
Yeah.
You know what? Because not only did you get Otto's irresistible dance cast on you, but every single time you passed the save to not fall down while dancing. So I will give a point to Zolk for dancer.
Gopnik rat.
Get advantage on squat checks.
That's
squat on toes, break your bones.
Deep.
And no successful wills of the people checks. Loyalty, aside from the point to attend for Neil, nothing really happened other than him drooling a little bit, so he's probably not going to get any of the other markers there.
Too soon.
He failed to mess
He
it
didn't take any damage.
Yeah, but there was also not really any opportunities to take much damage.
He could have gotten stuck in the goo.
I
Instead,
think
he decided to drool.
I mean, the most
He's
that
angry.
happened there is I would have kicked him in.
I'd be tempted to say he performed the incredible action of drooling, but Zolk passed all the saves, so it didn't do anything. So if he failed, Zolk would have lost the story, and Neil would have gained a loyalty point.
Hey, he had fun.
He had fun.
That's all that matters.
Well, with that, we've got some good revelations for the party. We're coming up to the end of what I would call the chapter 1 of Theros. The sort of we've established your characters in the world. We know kind of what they want and what they want to do, and it's now that we're actually going to start getting into doing stuff that will have like permanent impacts on the rest of the world.
Oh
So
no.
there's still a couple more
Yeah.
sessions. And there's one major encounter left. Then we're going to go essentially transition to chapter 2. And I think at that point is where we'll probably take a pause to let Scuts run the marble domain for a little bit.
Oh,
So excited.
yeah.
I think that'll be a decent sort of pause point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you still want me to bring Evelyn, or shall I revive the Inquisitor for that?
You can play whatever you want.
That is a bad idea. And I will tell you that
The
now.
risky
Evelyn is a
move.
No,
piece of shit.
I made it very clear. If you bring back Evelyn and there are too many shenanigans, go play a druid.
Evelyn is shenanigans, the character. That's all she fucking does. She's bullshit.
This
And I
is how
love
I
it.
know
Oh, shit.
my homebrew will never be too unbalanced because it'll never catch up to Evelyn.
Evelyn's
So
coming
much
back. Max is coming back.
I'm trying to remember what I built for your campaign.
This is pre.
I've actually built Satyr Atlas that's based entirely on jumping on people. It's great. You're going to play. I'm going to play
Forgot you
slightly
made
bigger
that.
Pogeg. It's great. Well,
Oh,
yeah.
I can't wait.
With that, thank you everyone for playing. Hopefully that was fun. Thank you everyone at home for watching, and for everyone in the chats and so on. We will be back next week with session 23 at about 7:30 p.m. GMT, and I still don't know what time that is in American. At least you're American.
It's we play from 11:30. What? PST. There we go. But yeah. Everybody take care, have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Before we see you next time, don't forget to check out both mine, Satyr Atlas, and the Scudspots YouTube channels for the VODs for the sessions if you've missed anything. I am going through all the old VODs to try and clip highlights, but there's like dozens and
much.
dozens of hours of content that I'm trying to clip through. It's not easy, and I don't know how to edit videos, so I'm learning. But those should hopefully be up at some point. So make sure to go subscribe to there. Make sure to follow if you enjoyed watching along, especially on Scuds, because you're close to getting the unique emotes.
Yeah, if you enjoyed, definitely click follow so you can get alerts for more streams. We are 5 away from me being able to add the chaos of custom emotes, and I already have a bunch ready to go. They're just adorable. So we're so close. I can taste it.
And with that, thank you everyone for watching. See you next time.
Take care. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Right.